back on the moon, baby. Welcome to it. This is Jamil, and I got with me version 2 of the Hawthorne man. Man, I always say, like, man, this guest is just, this is why this guest is so important to me, because his father was on an episode already. All right. Good old James Hawthorne, somebody that had joined the Astroflipping mentorship and came in, guns blazing, got deals done. Just an incredible gentleman and wonderful man. And then I come to find out that he's got this beautiful, intelligent, highly capable son who he wants to get involved in real estate investing. And he was like, hey, can I get my son Alec to be a part of this? And then, gosh, so much happened. Alec came in, started crushing it, doing deals, ended up working at KeyGlee, crushed it at KeyGlee, and now he's off on his own, running his own business. Like, things went bananas. Life went bananas, guys. He's married. You married yet?
Yeah.
Married kid. Like,
yeah,
everything changed for this man. And so we're going to get all into that in this episode, guys. I want to introduce to you the one and only Alec Hawthorne. Welcome to the moon, baby. I'm so happy you're here, bro.
Thank you, brother. You hyped me up. I don't know. That's quite the introduction.
I mean, I feel it. I've watched you. I mean, you were a part of the original crew of people that started with me in Astro, right? And so, like, your dad and, like, you guys, right when I came in and, like, I started coaching, y'all were there. You know, and so, like, you guys are a part of my original crew, and so I'm so amazed, and I feel so incredibly honored to be a part of your journey, to watch what you've accomplished in such a short amount of time. Alec, do us a favor. Take us back, right? Take us back in time to when you were watching your dad on calls with me, and you weren't doing real estate, and you were interested. Bring us back to that time and how you got here.
Yeah. So, and that was peak COVID too, pretty much, when we joined, and whenever you started, I think, getting into that role. I think Josiah was there before, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And so, going back to that time, it was a lot has changed, like you said, and I think a lot of it's contributed to kind of what the seed you've implanted in our lives, you know, my life, my family's, and a lot of people close to me, just people I've met through the mentorship. And so let's go back. I was
you're watching your dad on a call with me. You're like, who's this dude, man? He's praying. Yep. Like, what's happening here?
Yep. So I originally saw you on a Max Maxwell video, like a YouTube video. Just I found out what wholesale was, like, in 2019.
Shout out Max Maxwell. Love you, bro.
Yeah. So I binge watched Max Maxwell, like, when he was, so this was 2019. So he's already had momentum on YouTube. A lot of YouTube, like, binge watching everyone on YouTube. Getting the YouTube University like crazy. I'm like my dad has mentioned in the podcast he did with you. But so diving in, so background, I am only 24 now. So I was young.
You were like 21, 22 when you started with me.
Yeah, like 2021 when I found out what wholesale was. And I just kind of took it. I actually knew the concept of wholesale, like, back prior to that. I just didn't think it was something that was for me, that I could do myself, and, like, be.
What were you planning on doing? Like, did you have another option?
I've always been real entrepreneurial from, like, a young age. So my mom, like, implanted, like, you know, do what you want to be doing. Like, she supported me through everything. Like, that's the foundation was that, like, just growing up in that kind of scenario where she was super supportive, and so was my dad. And he was always commission based. So he was in the car business. He was then sold for for new homes, and still does now, like as a full-time job. So he was always kind of in that entrepreneurial mindset too, and that's kind of what fueled the fire for me at a young age. Was like, all right, I know there's something like just greater out there for me. I know I was never good at school. I was never good at, like, all the teachers hated me and like picked on me. Not like picked on me, but like there was always, I was just like the kid in the back with the hoodie on and the headphones in, and like
I get,
never
bro.
really.
I know exactly who you were. I'm that guy. I was that guy. Like, my teachers hated me, and I did
Yeah.
well on my tests, but they always thought I cheated. They were just like, "There's no chance this guy is getting these grades. Like, he's fussing with us,
I was
But
the same way. Yeah, I wasn't like super terrible, but hanging out with the wrong crowds and people that just weren't very like looking to do more for themselves.
Right.
So I always was like, knew there was something greater, knew there was some sort of outlet to go to. I like read books on like, different multi-level marketing and things like that, like random stuff to try and like, but it fueled the fire. And this was like 2016, like I was still, I graduated, supposed to graduate class of 2016, but I actually graduated like 2 years later than I was supposed to from high school. So that's, and I, saw all my friends walk the stage and stuff. So I was always like, felt behind and like kind of lost, to be honest. And then I found wholesale in 2019, just working like random jobs, car dealership, like different things. Actually, at one point, and it was pretty recent. It was during COVID when I was like still trying to make this like full time. I was actually working at a farmer's market I was selling mushrooms and salsa.
What kind of mushrooms?
Like all types of mushrooms, like shiitake. They would grow them like locally, and I would sell them for a vendor.
Like mushrooms or like food mushrooms?
Just like food mushrooms, edible, like that you would cook and eat.
Got it. So like mushy mushrooms and salsa.
Illegal kind, yeah.
Legal mushrooms and salsa. So you're selling legal mushrooms and salsa at the farmer's market. You're trying to get this wholesale thing going on. You've been watching Max Maxwell. He's fired you up. You've been listening to other multi-level marketing and entrepreneurial style podcasts and content, and this stuff's just fueling you. Yeah. Right. And then all of a sudden you see your dad takes action and ends up joining the mentorship Astroflipping.
Yeah. So to tie it in, 2019, like September-ish, I actually started taking action. And we ended up getting our first deal together. So what we would do is like, I would drive for dollars, and I was too scared to talk on the phones. So we would pull the list after I would drive like every day, whenever I could. And I actually calculated out like to the dollar how much I needed to pay bills just to survive. And then I would go drive for dollars the rest of the time and just focus on wholesale. And, so that's what I did. That was a strategy. And it wasn't much either. It was like, I only needed like $42 a day to like get by. So I would make that and then go. And at the time I was living with my brother, helping use. So like everything was good there, and just focused on driving for dollars. We'd pull the list and he would call the sellers. So just the hard way. We're climbing the mountain the hard way, basically. Like,
yeah, I mean, look, driving for dollars is probably, I'd say 70% of people who are not Astro Flippers, but 70% of people who find wholesale real estate through like YouTube University and then, take action for their first thing, they start by driving for dollars, right? Because it's inexpensive for the most part. If gas right now is like crazy, but like for the most part, it's pretty inexpensive, and it's very easy to see what's a possible deal. Like you drive by it, you see that house looks like crap. Oh, that could be a possible wholesale deal. So
exactly.
But it's very hard. It takes a long time, and it really does cost you a lot of time and money, right? I mean, it's not as simple as some people like to make it sound like. It's work, right? And so not that everything isn't work, it's all work, but driving for dollars is especially hard. Yeah. And so you do that. Do you get some success?
Yeah, so that's how we got our first deal. It was about 90 days in. I say 90 days, it was probably more like 3 to 4 months in. We closed our first deal, and I think my dad had a connection with a larger like disposition company here at the time, where they kind of helped get it under contract. Because again, first deal, it's like we didn't know you weren't doing
you don't know, you don't have the contracts right, you don't even know where to sign, like
exactly.
it's scary, dude. It can get scary, especially because like this is a binding contract and I could get my ass fried if I don't know what the hell I'm doing. That's why honestly, like I have a lot of like respect for people who just bootstrap it and go YouTube route. Because look, I didn't have a mentor and nobody taught me how to wholesale. I figured it out, right, by calling lawyers and like learning the contracts and learning about contract law and all that. I thought I invented wholesaling. I didn't, but I thought I did, right? So I have a lot of respect for people who are self-taught. I just wish there was somebody at the time when I was doing it, because if there was a way for me to like shortcut all of the hassle and time that I spent doing it wrong, it would have saved me years and would have made millions more. And it's a learning curve thing, right? And so this video is brought to you by Privy. Privy is an incredible software that'll help you find deeply discounted deals on the MLS. Yeah, they actually exist there. Click the link in the description. Now stop watching me and go watch me. So you got your first deal done. You get it driving for dollars, right? Which is super cool. You get some help from a dispo house to help you put the contracts together. You and your dad are you're starting to feel like, okay, we got a proof of concept here, right? We got a deal done. And then he finds Astro soon after that, or what's the next step?
Yeah, so it was $5,000 the first deal. So we split it, and that was just proof of concept. That was the most money I think I've ever made at one time at that point. And so proof of concept, took that, and we closed on my now wife's birthday. So I felt like a baller. I was just like,
you had to take her out for dinner and
walking around with $2,500 cash in my pocket.
Ooh, you had $2,500 in cash and you were walking around with those stacks in your hands?
Yep. Felt
nice.
cool.
Nice. Was she like, oh, honey, you look, what's that bulge in your pants?
I was I was like, yeah, let's go to the bank and deposit it.
What a birthday date.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Just watch me, honey. I want you to get really excited as I slap these 20s down on the counter here.
I thought
so
it was
good.
Cool. You take the picture with it and everything.
Love it. Love it. You deserve that, dog. You deserve something like that. If we don't all have a cheesy, check or like cash picture somewhere on our Instagrams, we're not real,
Yeah. So especially in the beginning stages, it's like, wow, I just created this basically from thin air is what it feels like, because when you're doing the 9 to 5, it's like you have to put some effort in, some labor, whatever you're doing to get that dollar return. So it just feels different. Like you're
right. And I think what you're describing is that when you're driving for dollars, that's work, right?
Yep.
But you loved it. You enjoyed it so much it didn't feel like work. So when you put it together and that translated into $2,500, well, $5,000 total, but $2,500 your split.
Yep.
When you saw that I just got to do something I enjoy doing, and then poof, there's $2,500.
Yeah,
that's legit.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got that proof of concept, and Dad's got the proof of concept. So now you guys know wholesaling is real.
Yeah, and then we started watching more of your stuff. Again, I saw you on a Max Maxwell video. Then I watched that podcast you did with him back in 2019, I think, somewhere around there. It might have been a little old when I watched it, but
yeah, I had a whole different beard, and it was version 1, Jamil 1.0.
No, that's how I was like, all right, who's this guy doing? So then we started getting in tune with the people that had a presence on social media. So you Pace, everybody, Jerry Norton, like all these people. So we actually went to I think before we closed that deal, we went to an event in Vegas that kind of also sparked it. So the All In guys were there. So
awesome. Yeah. I think that Tony the Closer put that on, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. That's neat. All right, so you
Yes.
went to that event. Those events are fun, man. They're high
Yeah.
energy. There's a lot of people there. They're all doing deals. Well, some
Yep.
of them are doing deals, and
Yeah.
you get to see the excitement. And
Mhm.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
That hypes me up too.
It does.
I speak at those events, and they hype me. They hype me up.
Mhm.
They make me want to go out and work harder, even though I'm like the guy that people are there to see. It's
Yep.
weird.
So I met Kong Lee over there, so that was cool. And so let me see. It definitely wasn't as big as the other Vegas event recently. The
Clever Summit.
Clever Summit. Yeah, it's nowhere near that. It was probably like maybe a tenth of that. I don't know, but it was still cool to go. And then join the mentorship. I think mid 2020, we had maybe done. We started doing other things that instead of we after that first deal, we basically like stopped driving for dollars. Like
Okay.
and that's
And what did you move into? What was the next lead generation
just
technique?
trying to like pull lists from like data providers and like cold call basically. So literally everything
I
it's
mean,
just
look, I have nothing against cold calling, guys. Like anybody out
yeah.
there that don't leave me mean comments, say cold calling works. It works.
Yeah.
There's also a jerk every time you call. Like every person who picks up the phone is mad at you.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody's telling you to F off. It's like I
Mhm.
believe in energy, and I just don't want that much negative energy thrown at me in one day. I can't walk around life with that on my shoulders. I can't. I don't feel okay disrespecting or disrupting people's dinner time and like asking them, you know how many calls I get people asking me if I want to sell my house a day? Like, and I'm annoyed at them and I'm in the business, so I get it. I get why people are upset. So you pull a list, you skip trace it, you go through the mumbo jumbo of cold calling, and that's like climbing Everest without
It
gear.
is.
So what did you think of that?
Well, I feel like everyone sort of has to experience that. Not has to, but like for me, it was like I had to experience that to know just what I enjoy doing, what I want to focus on, what business model makes sense for me. Like I just had to kind of go through that to move forward and just grow as an individual in this space. So I felt, like, yeah, it sucked, but I learned a lot while doing those different things, did a lot of texting. And I think that's how we got our second deal ever. And that was a nightmare too. And I want to say we joined the program prior to that second deal. And it was like a nightmare of a deal. Like, anyone within the right mind wouldn't have done the deal, and that's probably why I was the one who picked it up and helped her out. But we solved the problem and we got the deal done. We didn't make very much again, but again, it was like a learning experience, proof of concept. But it was a new construction, $1 million house, and it was a short sale. But I think the way we were able to wholesale it with it being a short sale was it was a construction loan. I don't know if that has anything to do with, or it was like because it was a new build and it was incomplete.
Right.
So it was, I don't know if that has anything to do with the legalities of wholesaling a short sale there. But we
I don't
were
think
able to get
so.
it.
No, I've been involved in many short sales. Typically, the problem with short sales is non-arm length transactions, which I'm sure, like, it wasn't your dad who was short selling to you, right?
No.
Okay, so there was no problem there. And then the other thing is they usually don't want the owner to be the person who's selling it to get it back. Like, they want to make sure that you're not in an agreement to sell it back to the person who lost it. And then they also sometimes put a deed restriction so that whoever's buying it can't sell it for 30, 60, or 90 days. Those are literally the 3 ways to get boned on a short sale. If you didn't violate any of those 3 things, you're fine.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we didn't know any of that. We just were like, all right, let's try and do it. We tried to do like a creative finance deal, like with it. We tried to like do something funny and it didn't work. So she came back to us. She was in foreclosure. Like, I text blasted a pre-foreclosure list. And I was the only one that, like, everyone else's criteria when they pulled pre-foreclosures, they probably didn't fit it because it was like just all the things you would probably not want when you
New construction, I would have never called that. I would have been like, yeah, nope. Filter. There's no deal here, right? But you saw, I mean, you were just trying to be helpful, which again is a part of why I think as wholesalers we deserve to be successful, is because we're solving problems. We're there to be helpful to the people and to provide solutions for folks that may not have opportunity or have access to these solutions, or the people who can bring the solution, right? And so there's something to be said about the utility that we bring to the marketplace, which I think is absolutely incredible. What did you make on that deal, by the way? Just so like people have context.
So we ended up getting it under contract for I think like 515,000, I think I want to say, and they had 20,000 in HOA like
Violations.
Yeah, like because it sat unfinished for so long, the HOA was like putting liens basically against the house. It was like ended up like being like 22 grand that we had to pay out of our assignment fee, which we didn't think was going to be that much, and that's why it ended up being kind of so small. But we were like, all right, yeah, we'll pay that. So we ended up selling it to a guy who does the higher end stuff, and sold it for 545, but minus the 20, it ended up being like 9 grand and some change. And there was an agent who actually brought the buyer, so we had to like basically split with him, and he was pissed because we didn't pay him 3%.
Oh wow! So he was mad because he didn't get his 3%. You guys didn't make what you were supposed to make.
Yeah,
but
so we split it with him. We ended up only making like $4,500.
Right. But so is the agent talk to you guys still?
No, I don't know where. I don't know.
Well, whatever, his loss. So you got your second deal in. You are text blasting to get the deal. You find Astroflipping, and everything changes, right? What happens next?
Changes. So a lot of networking within the community. So met a lot of people in Texas doing it. We started like an accountability group, and it sort of fizzled, but we got a deal done within that one. That was one of the epitomes of like squatting up, and I think my dad might have told it on the other one, but I don't know if he told it right. But basically, to keep it short here, but we got after the fudge of text blasting, cold calling, and all that, like we decided to try Facebook ads and run those. So that's even like, another hurdle, but we would get leads from it. And one of them, she was here. She lived here in Austin and had a house in Richardson, which is in Dallas. So that's a good area, but I didn't know that because I'm focused on here. So there was a guy
here being San Antonio,
Austin.
So
there was a guy in Astro. I haven't spoke to him in a long time. I hope he's doing well. But John Goodson.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. I haven't touched base with him, but he went out and knocked on the door of that house. There was a guy living there. John gave him my number, and he called me the next day. He told me what they wanted for it. And then I ended up sending a contract. Never spoke to the seller. I spoke to their husband who lived there, ex-husband. But I just sent the contract. We got it under contract. And then another Astro student brought a buyer. So we split, I think, 12,000 three ways between us, Johnny, and the Astro student that brought the buyer.
But this time, did that deal come from a Facebook lead, or that came from a student? Okay, that still came from paid marketing. Yeah. Let's fast forward to your first like no money out of pocket deal.
So, I guess it was pretty soon after that I actually joined. I found out I was having a baby, so I got my license and went and worked for KeyGlee just to kind of make this like happen. Like
Yeah,
obviously,
make this full time, make this legit, right? And
yeah.
you know,
So,
Denise Abreu, she's another one that, you know, came into Astro, decided I need more structure, I need a paycheck, I wanna do this, but I don't want to leave this, but I can't just survive off of, you know, a deal here, a deal there. I got to make this full time while I'm getting my bearings. So she goes and she's working right now at KeyGlee Corporate.
oh,
You
nice.
went to go work for a franchise in Austin, Philip Villegas. He's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
So you
Great.
go there and you work with him. How did that go?
That went really good. Honestly, I don't think I'd be where I'm at today without Philip and Nick. Like they're legitimately, like I've learned so much working with them, and we probably did, I don't know how many deals. We did a lot of deals. And I just learned how to actually treat this like a business,
Right.
one, and really implement what you teach, the agent outreach, like, you know, just making it a business versus like one deal here, one deal there, like not consistent, and climbing the mountain the hard way. I don't know how else to put it, but it just is different. So, did that
So
up
you're
in,
at KeyGlee, you do that for a while, then like
yeah,
what was your monthly take home there? Like how was that looking?
it was pretty good. I think, I mean, the biggest month, I think I made like 23 grand.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I got some guys in Phoenix that do like 30-40K, but you
Yeah.
know, in Austin, you're just getting started. $23,000 in a month, bro. And that's that's a W-2 job. That's not you as an entrepreneur. That's a W-2 job. I don't know a lot of W-2 jobs out there that pay 20 racks or more a month, you know? So you
Yeah.
do that. It lets you learn, it gets you on your feet, it gets you the bearings, and then you did a flip on
Yeah.
your own? And what did you make there?
So we first flip went south with my dad. I actually found the deal through KeyGlee. Philip he started out in TTP, so he was had a virtual assistant calling and would filter into our CRM, and I would reach out to him because I was acquisitions. So that one was a direct to seller lead that we ended up getting a contract, and I was like, all right, this is a good deal. We've been doing this a little while. Like, let's just try and fix and flip it. So we took that one down, me and my dad and I. Or they, you know, we bought it from KeyGlee, and the project ended up taking a long time. Bad contractor, kind of a long story.
Dang.
But
That happens to so many people, man. You buy a great deal, you get a terrible contractor, and it's bust.
yeah, we ended up, luckily, because the timing, the great, you know, the freaking peak of the market, basically, we didn't lose money, but it still was just a lot of headache for my dad. It like took a toll on him I mean, it was like a year we were in the project, so like just a lot of stress. And I think Brent like talks about it a lot. It's like it takes a lot of your mental real estate and you can't focus on other things. You can't focus on more deals because you're worried about this thing. So we ended up flipping that one. But during that process, I found another deal that Philip, Nick, and I partnered on, and we fixed and flipped that while that other one was going on. So the first deal ended up being the second deal. So within that time frame, we flipped two houses, and saw the you know, the deal flow and how to reach out to agents, like dialing all this stuff in. I went and hung out with your team at the corporate store and sat in with, you know, Zach and them, and learned so much. And so I recently in April just had, you know, a conversation with Philip and Nick, and just decided like let's work together still, but let's just do it at a different
Arrangement.
Yeah. So we still do deals. We had one deal close in May, and actually another one just this past week. And so
What's your monthly? What do you look like monthly now?
right now, So I just branched off. It was actually April Fool's Day that I left KeyGlee, and Nick thought I was joking with him. But so left in April. So right before I left, I met two other students that were in Astro, or one that was in Astro and his business partner, Seth and Devin, and we did a few we did one deal while I was still at KeyGlee, got their first deal, and they're just hustling. Like, they're cold calling agents from an Excel list, like hand dialing, getting leads, and like we got their first deal like that. So we ended up just hitting it off. We got pretty close. Devin ended up being like, we started doing, he was doing personal training. And so we started working out and we started like hanging out, got close with them. So by the time I branched off, like we just started working pretty close together. So we ended up doing a deal like in April that they found. It was a quick one. And then in the midst of that, and now basically we like fully kind of committed and we teamed up. So now we're pretty much full business partners at this point. We basically tied the knot this past week.
Congrats.
So yeah,
how's your monthly income been since leaving KeyGlee and being on your own?
So since that branch off, deal count, I'm not positive, but we had a deal to close today that total profit between us was 150 grand since April.
Crazy, dude. $150,000 since April.
Yeah.
That's like 50 grand a month.
Yeah. One of them was a wholesale deal. So we actually, we closed on it and then we just cleaned it out basically and relisted it and sold it on the MLS. So that was a larger one, but it was the first large one that they've experienced. So, and that one was just under 70,000. So that one was nice. And that kind of, we had a lot of smaller ones, but we're averaging about 2 or 3 a month at the moment.
Incredible, dude. I'm so proud of you, Alec. You've got, now you're a business partner, you're a business owner, you've flown the coop from your dad, you're living on your own now, you've since been married, you have a baby. Like, life just, you started real estate investing lost. Today, you found yourself in a situation where you're routinely bringing in approximately $50,000 a month. You're a business owner, you're married, you're a dad, you're in a whole new world, man. How does it feel to be on the moon, baby?
It's crazy, man. And I attribute it to you. Like, if it wasn't for you, as cheesy as it sounds, if it wasn't for you and what you had accomplished, it wouldn't have put me in a spot to, one, get the knowledge from the Astroflipping, which would put me in touch with Philip, who brought the franchise, and then I would work for that franchise and basically change. I just like, as funny as it sounds too, like I'm believe in like a multiverse and different like I think life is all about like decisions. So it's like a series of decisions. So if none of that existed, I just don't know what it would be like. But I'm just so beyond.
You're happy that you're living in this universe. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm grateful. Now we're just trying to make this universe that we live in just as incredible as we can. So, our
Alec,
goal is to grow pretty big.
How big? What do you see?
We're trying to dominate all the major metros in Texas.
Awesome.
Is kind of the goal. So we want to be kind of like a go-to alongside with KeyGlee when it comes to dispositions for people that are branching into Texas virtually, or maybe here, but just don't have the resources. So we want to be kind of another go-to. Our goal is a deal a day is what we're kind of shooting for.
Let me tell you something. So back in the day when I was getting into this, I had a mantra, and my mantra was a deal a day, a deal a day, a deal a day, a deal a day. And I said it until it happened. And then it happened, and then it became 2 deals a day. And then it became more than 2 deals a day. And so now sometimes it's 3, 4, 5 deals a day. Last week we had a day where we did 9 in a day.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm a believer, bro. I'm a believer in what you put out there will find its way to you. It's the gift that we have as human beings. You know, we can affect our own reality if we just put our minds and hearts to it. And you, my friend, are an example of that, a shining example of that. You deserve the success you've had. You deserve the family that you're building. You deserve the baby that you've got, that beautiful wife. I've met her. She's incredible. All of the things that have come your way, brother, are you. And I thank you for attributing things to me, but bro, you did the work, man. You put in the work, you did it, and now you're reaping the rewards, and you are absolutely deserving of it. And I want everybody listening to this podcast right now to reach out to you. So Alec, how do people find you?
Honestly, I'm active on Instagram. Alec, I think it's just Alec D Hawthorne on Instagram. Or if you want to really connect or have a deal or just, you know, anything, I'll give you my cell phone. It's 512-216-3809. So
that's it, baby. That's it. That's the phone number, guys. Blow him up. If you got deals and you're doing them in Austin, Texas, he wants to do business with you, but he can handle business all over Texas. He is Alec Hawthorne, and he is on the moon. It has been an honor to have you here, baby. It is so cool. Give your dad my best regards. Tell him I love him, and I can't wait to see him again. And the next time I'm in Texas, you and I are going to go get some food together and kiss that baby and that wife. Until the next time, guys, we'll see you.
All right, brother.
Thanks for watching another one of my YouTube videos. Now it's your turn to go out and take some action. But before you do, like and subscribe to my channel, because the law of reciprocity means you owe me.